This is a demonstration of Protective Diet's bread maker rye bread shaped into a round or a boule. It's a little bit different of a technique than our classic whole wheat berry bread maker boule. First things first is get your empty Dutch oven into your oven. And here I'm using my Breville Smart Air Pro oven, and I have the rack on the lowest rung possible to fit my 4.5 quart Dutch oven. You could use a smaller one. And I'm preheating it to 480 degrees. And I set it for 40 minutes, but we're going to have to reset that possibly if I don't get this loaf formed in time. This was on just the dough setting in the bread maker, assembled as the recipe suggests, and take it out as soon as an hour and a half passes. Now this dough is much stickier than our classic wheat loaf. As you can see, it sticks in the pan. And throughout this shaping process, which is pretty quick to do and fun and rewarding to do, to bake it out of the bread maker, it's gift worthy. It comes out so beautiful. Take your paddle out and keep in mind, dough sticks to dough. So if you have dough on your fingers, guess what? You're going to get more dough on your fingers. With this one, here is I have 2 tablespoons of fresh milled whole wheat berries. I'm putting a little on the counter. With the other loaf, I don't do that because that dough is extremely forgiving. So I would say make the bread maker whole wheat berry boule first to get an idea of what we're doing here. Because with the rye flour that we make from our whole rye wheat berries, this dough is really sticky compared to the hard white wheat berries that we blender mill or grain mill. I love this recipe because it's getting the whole entire grain into your recipe, unlike commercial flour. That's why we're blender milling. I'm teaching high-speed blender milling flour and then also grain milling. I use a grain mill because I use it every day, not just for bread making. I use it for many things, which in Protective Diet Education we go through. So I'm forming this. I'm going to give these a quick rinse, and I'm going to clean as I go. My bread maker pan filled with warm water as I rinsed off my fingers. Now I'm going to flip this over and shape my loaf. Sprinkling with my flour, I'm rubbing it on just like we do with the whole wheat boule. Check out that full-length class in Protective Diet Education so you can master this. This is one of my favorite things to do, and I gift a lot of my bread to my friends. My dogs love the bread. I don't feed them the rye bread because it's got all this caraway seeds and other ingredients in here, like cacao powder. There's a tablespoon of organic cacao powder in here to darken up the rye, just like in traditional rye. That is a commonly done thing. So just see how I'm pulling this? I'm creating tension here to form my round and to smooth the top. Then I'm going to take this flour, put it on top again, give it a little dusting, because when we score this loaf, that flour is what's going to vary the color. Okay, now I have a bowl here lined with a piece of parchment paper. And you can see I trimmed off the little edges because I don't want to create, I don't want a lot of parchment hanging over my Dutch oven. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. Because it can catch fire in this little Breville oven. I love using this little Breville oven because it preheats really fast. But as you can see, I formed my loaf before it even preheated. It's still preheating. So we're gonna wait to do our scoring until that oven is hot. Our oven is now preheated to 480 degrees, and I'm taking this out to do the scoring so that this is movable. And I tend to do my signature swirl, Jerry calls it, because I always put a swirl on all my loaves. On a rye bread, you might just want to put three lines, but I love this cut. Now you don't need this special tool to do this. I use this one, I have it stashed in the kitchen. This is what I started out using instead of a lame like this. This is a much sharper razor. This one came out of my utility knife, and I'll show you how to do it with this one so that you realize you don't need any special gadgets. With Protective Diet Education, I'm always showing you how anyone can do this without a ton of accessories. I'm always trying to make it happen with things that we have around our kitchen, or what I call our workplace for wellness. And I'm just going a little bit deeper to neaten this up. So if you don't make your cut deep enough, this is what's going to give your loaf oven spring. And a rye bread isn't going to rise as high as your whole wheat bread maker, whole wheat berry bread maker loaf that I teach you, but it's going to be beautiful. So next is taking out my hot Dutch oven with hot mitts on. Don't forget. I always leave a hot mitt right here on top of here because you could get distracted and pick up that lid, and oh no, you're gonna be in trouble. So my oven is shut during this dropping process so that it stays hot, but this Dutch oven is going to stay hot. And it goes, and this bakes for 40 minutes, 10 minutes longer than our regular boule. And then the big reveal. 40 minutes. I'm going to use this time block to clean up my counters, clean as I go. Put the cover back on this guy. We don't want anyone getting into that or having an accident. Time's up, 40 minutes down, and it's time for my favorite part, the big reveal. And what I'm doing is just removing. I'm removing the lid. Woo, and look at that swirl. And back in it goes. Quickly, put it back in, get the door closed, and this is when it's going to crisp up and brown. Resetting my timer here for 10 minutes. Do this part as quick as you can. Keep that oven hot. There we go. There we go. It's always awkward getting it out of this hot pan. Oh, wow, yum. And then set it. I set it on an extra oven rack to cool, but this one is going to a special friend. I like to take the loaf over hot. So I try and time this perfectly. And wrap it in some parchment so the crust does not get soft. Go like this. You could secure it with a ribbon or some twine. I have some repurposed produce twist ties to secure my paper. And off I go. Special delivery, hot bread delivery. Doesn't get any better than that.
Way to go.
Is it any good?
Great.
It's great.
It's awesome.
Rye bread.
Want to bite? Yeah,
Round.
try it.
Oh my gosh.